Okay. Hey guys, what's up? Robert Ziehe here, and this is the very first video of the new series, Photography for You. When you search YouTube, you will find tons of channels teaching and talking about photography. The vast majority tries to bring you photography in a very technical way. You will find unboxing and comprehensive reviews of gear that you should or should not buy. You see in-depth reviews of cameras and other equipment. And basically it's all about technique. And though I agree, you should definitely know the gear you are working with, what I want to show you is how and where to find inspiration to create beautiful pieces of art rather than technically perfect images. This being said, today we will start by looking at one member of a love triangle. Now, please let me start with a little history. We all know that the term photography is originated from the Greek photos, which means light, and graphe. I don't know the exact pronunciation, graphe, which means drawing. So, we are talking about drawing with light. Back in the days, this drawing happened on some special kind of paper, actually a plastic, which was covered with tiny little crystals that were sensitive to light. Let's just assume that this here is your picture frame, right? And that this here are the little crystals. So we spread them evenly on your frame up to a specific size of print that you get. Since these are very tiny little crystals, you barely won't notice them when you enlarge your picture. But these need a lot of light so that they can react and burn the image on the film. Now we're going to use slightly bigger grains. We will spread them here just the same way we did it with the tiny little ones. So since these are bigger, they actually need less light to react. The bigger the crystals, the less light was needed, and born was the light sensitive film. How light sensitive the film was defined by the time it needed to react to light. We called it film speed. And at some point, this film speed story was defined by ASA, DIN, and finally ISO. So let us stick to ISO, since this is the term widely spread nowadays and everybody knows. The smaller the ISO number, 25, 50, 100, the smaller the crystals, the slower is the film to react. The smaller the crystals and the slower is the film to react. More light is needed. the higher the number, 200, 400, 800, 1600, 3200. Consequently, the faster, bigger the crystals are, and the film is more sensitive. Less light is needed. But comparing these, when I enlarge a print with this one or with this one, these I will see pretty fast. And this is the grain that we see in our pictures. With digital, almost nobody uses film anymore, but we still use the same terms. And the technology works basically the same way. Instead of film, we have a light-sensitive sensor in our camera. The crystals here are tiny little sensors called pixels that react to light. And since we have no interchangeable sensors that we can switch, the way they do it to make these pixels more sensitive is by grouping them together. Now, when we print the images, what we see is no longer a grain from the crystal, but the noise from the grouped pixel. So looking back, we have this ISO thing that tells me that the higher the number, the less light I need to make a picture. But I will get noise in my image, and depending on how much noise, it can become a piece of art or a piece of shit. Now that we know where this noise comes from, we can actually use this to our advantage. From now on, you will consider in your process of picture making if and how much of this noise you want in your image. And by the way, one more thing. The smaller the sensor size, the more light it may need for a good image. Now we made the first step of creative thinking for our photography. In the next video I will introduce you to the next member of this trio. We will be talking holes. Small holes and bigger holes, and what they have to do with photography. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thank you very much for visiting. Next video will be up on Saturday. Until then, watch this one and rewatch it over and over again so that you become the absolute expert master ISO. Photography is a way of feeling, of touching, of loving. What you have caught on film is captured forever. It remembers little things long after you have forgotten everything. That's not from me, that's from Aaron Siskind. Have a great day, have a great life, enjoy your photography. If you have any questions, just write them down below. I will be answering them, definitely.